Hello, Happy New Year's Eve. If you're here from Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations on December 31st, 2018, you're in the right spot. This is the next project for you to complete or to work on. This is a weight loss journal or tracker, or it doesn't have to be weight loss. It can be anything, but that's what I'm using it for. So gather your supplies, and what you're going to need is some real sturdy cardstock, and I use the Artisan cardstock. Grab a beautiful pad of paper, and I use the Prima Midnight Garden. You're going to need some of your basic tools, some glue, scissors, paper cutter, bone folder, scoreboard, things like that. Nothing out of the ordinary. There are two things that are optional. And that is an 8.5 by 5.5 inch page protector, and then also a small, like a traveler's notebook kind of. It's just a stapled notebook that measures about, what is it, about 9, it's probably 8.5 inches by 4.5 inches, something like that. And you can alternate, you can use something else instead. But so let me show you real quick what we're going to be making. This is the weight loss tracker, and I found a sticker that says "Believe is to have faith in," and so I'm going to need that. I need to believe in myself this year, and this is the year I'm going to do it. So I just added some of the chipboard elements from the Midnight Garden collection, found some things in my stash, had some doilies. Nothing here. The back is just plain paper. I wanted this to be real simple. I plan on using it a lot and opening and closing it a lot, so I didn't want anything too bulky on the front. And so I went with more flat elements this time. When you open it, there are some different features, and you can set yours up however you want. But I have this planned for a before picture. I haven't put it on there yet. I'm waiting till the last minute to do that because I don't like taking my picture. Anyway, this is the before picture, and then this is a flap. It's magnetic, and it goes up, and then here is going to be the after picture, because it's going to be like a major transformation. And so this pocket is dimensional, like it has depth to it, so you can add a lot of stuff. I just printed out my weight loss on the computer and backed it in black cardstock. And then I went to a website that had the month, your start weight, your end weight for each week, and it's how much of a gain or a loss. And I cut it apart and made it fit. So it's all the months of the year. So if you go online, you'll find a lot of templates you can use, a lot of trackers you can use, menu planning, a whole bunch of stuff. So this is just an example of something I found, and it can go in here. And because there's so much depth in here, a lot of things can go in. If you want to do coupons or recipes, things you cut out, inspirational quotes, you can use it for anything. Okay, so that's the left-hand side. This is the optional 8.5 by 5.5 page protector. You can just do another one of the base pages that I'm going to show you instead. But I thought this was kind of nice. I want to keep track of my steps and how much water I drink. And so again, this was found online, and I just printed it and stuck it inside. Well, I mounted it on black paper and then put it inside. So that's this side. I probably will get a paper clip. I made it a little bit smaller than the actual page protector, so that this is how it's connected. I didn't want it to go back behind that, so I made this smaller. On the other side, I just printed an inspirational quote for me to remember. It says, "Slow progress is better than no progress." So again, you can add pictures here. You can put clippings of things inside. Then there are 2 more pages. So if you don't want to do the page protector, you can do just an additional page like this. This has 2 pockets. It's a double pocket page, and they go all the way to the bottom. And this one, I just found an example of a New Year's resolution weight loss paper. It tells what your weight is, your goals, how much you weigh on Monday and how much you weighed on Sunday, what you ate each day, some daily tasks. I just want to get some examples of things that might be helpful, and so I want to put those in here so I can keep track of them. Put this in right. This is flimsy paper, so if I had it on thicker construction paper, it would go in easier. And then this is a pocket also. Don't know what I'm going to put in there yet. Like I said, I hope to find some things online that I can print, whether it be motivational or something else. The next, and I printed this out, it says keep going. On the next page, it just says today. It has a chipboard sticker on the corner. Here's another example of a grocery list that I found. It categorizes it by the different departments in the store, a list for what you're having each day. So I'm going to keep looking and see what I can find out there that I like. This one is a repeat of this page, so it's got a double pocket. Again, this one goes all the way down to store things. Just added some of this is from my stash, not all of it's from the paper collection. And you'll notice that this book is real good about laying flat. I did the spine a little bit different, and because there's only going to be 2 or 3 pages, I didn't do a regular spine. So it lays flat and is nice to work with, especially if you're going to be writing. This, I just wrote the word goals, popped up a butterfly I had, added some bling here, and then I just put some of the journaling cards in here so that I can write goals or things that I'm proud of or things I want to work on or what have you. So I just stuck those in this pocket. And you can decide what you want in your pockets. And then this is where I have the optional notebook. So this is where I want to record what I've eaten and my calories, that type of thing. And it was, I'm pretty sure it was for a traveler's notebook. And then I just covered it with the paper I'm using. And so it's just plain paper in here, and I'll write on that. And it just slides into this back cover. Okay, so that's what we're making. I've talked probably way too much. But this is 6.5 by 9. That's how big this measures. So go ahead and gather your supplies. I'm going to go through the cut, what size papers you need to cut first. Then we'll do scoring, and then we do the gluing. So I'm glad you're here tonight, and I hope you enjoy this project. All right, to begin with, I think it'll be easiest if we cut out all the paper first and label it. That's how I usually get started. And then go back and score it and put it back together. So if you're making yours like mine, there's going to be 2 pages plus the page pocket. If you don't want to do like the page protector page, you're going to want to do 3 base pages, and I'll talk more about that when we get there. So let's go ahead and just cut out our pieces and get that organized. So the first piece you're going to want to cut out, and this is for the part of the base, is a 9 by 9 piece. And then I put a sticky note on it and I label it base so that I can find it easily. The second part of the base is a 9 by 12 piece. And you'll notice mine are already folded, but I'll go through and tell you what the scoring marks are and stuff. So there's 2 pieces to the base. One is 9 by 9 and one is 9 by 12. So I have those labeled base. Okay, I'm going to set those aside. I do have, let's see, I have the left-hand side of the cover. You're going to need one at 6.5 by 9.5, and I just put left. You can put left cover if you want to. And you're going to need a piece that is 7 3/4 by 9.5. Okay, and that's also for the left-hand side. That'll become a thicker pocket with the flap. Okay, for the main base pages, I did 2 of them at 8 3/4 by 6.5. So this is where you might want to do 3 if you don't have the page, the pocket, well, what do you want to call it? Page protector. Okay, because that was optional. So if you want to do 3 pages of this, that would be a good alternative then. Okay, so either 2 or 3 of these, 8 3/4 by 6.5. If you're doing the page protector, you're going to need these. If you're not doing the page protector, you don't need these. So there's 2 pieces. They're both small. One you're going to need is 1 by 8 3/4, and the other one is 1.5 by 8 3/4. And I just labeled those page protectors, or PP for page protector. Okay, so one's 1.5 by 8 3/4, and the other one is 1 by 8 3/4. Okay, for pocket pages, we have the double pockets on the front of our insides, and the double pockets, here are the measurements. You're going to need 2 at 4 by 7 and 2 at 5.5 by 7. And I just labeled those page pockets. That'll be my front. Okay, 5.5 by 7 and 4 by 7, 2 of each. And then finally the back pocket on the back side of the pages. You're going to need 2, ooh, the lighting, is 6 by 7. And those I put back pockets. Okay. So now once you have everything cut, we're going to go through and score everything so we don't have to keep moving our materials back and forth. So I'm going to start with scoring the ones that we cut out last and move back to the front. So find your 2 pages that are 6 by 7, and we're going to make 3 score marks. Have your 7 inches going across the top. Okay, this is 7 inches. You're going to score at 1/2, turn it once so that the 6 inches is across the top, score at 1/2, and one more turn, score at 1/2. Okay. Now I know a lot of you are familiar with how you do the pockets, and so this is nothing new, but you do want to cut out the squares where the lines intersect, and I do those at an angle, and here and here, and we're going to do that to both pieces. Cut out the square at an angle. And then we're going to want to score, but burnish, but I'm going to do that at the end so I can get my covering for my scoreboard and not have to keep going back and forth. Okay, so those are the score marks for the 2 back pockets that were 6 by 7. Next, for the double pockets on the front, grab the 4 pieces that were 2 were 4 by 7 and 2 of them were 5.5 by 7. The ones that are 4 by 7, let's see. The ones that are 4 by 7, I look far away, don't I? If I zoom in, maybe you can see better. Let's see here. Let me try and help you out a little bit so you can see my measurements. Not like that. Is that a little bit better maybe? Okay. So these are the 4 by 7, and on the 7-inch side you're going to score at 1/2 of an inch, and then I just turn it around to the other side and do 1/2 of an inch. So you're only scoring on the 2 ends, the 2 7-inch ends. Okay. And let's do that on both pieces. So on the other 4 by 7, 7 inches across the top, you can do 1/2, and you can either turn it around and do 1/2 again, or you can score at the 6.5 inch mark. Either way is going to work. Okay. Place those to the side. So our 2 pieces that were 5.5 by 7, go ahead and place your 7 inches across the top. Score at 1/2 of an inch, and you can score at 6.5 inches. Turn it and score at 1/2 inch. So that's your basic pocket where you do the 1/2 inch score on each side. And so do that on both pieces. 7 inches at the top, score at 1/2 of an inch and 6.5 inches. Turn it once, score at 1/2. So now it's time to cut out the squares on the bottom at an angle on both pieces, both corners. And some people like to taper up at the top. I am not going to taper right now. I may later, but for right now I'll just leave those the way they are. Okay. One more here. Okay, set those to the side. Next, if you're doing the page protector and you have the 1 8 3/4 by the 1 1/2 by 8 3/4, you do nothing to the 1 inch, so you can move that to the side. But the one that's 1.5, you're going to place it so that the 1.5 inches is across the top and score at 1/2 inch. Okay. Some of you will have 2 of this page, some of you will have 3. It's depending on how you're laying yours out, whether or not you're having the page protector. So if you're doing the 2 or 3 of these, it doesn't matter which or how many, but go ahead and place your 6.5 inch side on the top here and just score at 1/2 inch. So we're doing kind of a different type of spine or binding. It's a real easy basic one and it'll go fast. Okay, and do that to both pieces. So 6.5 inches goes at the top, score at 1/2 inch. Those go to the side. Okay, now we're doing the 2 pieces that were labeled left, and these are on the left hand side of the cover. So find the one that's 6.5 by 9.5. Place the 9.5 inches across the top and score at 1/2. And then I did go ahead, I rounded the corners on the other side, the opposite side of the score. Okay. All right, so this one, you'll see that I've already done it because I had to make sure I had the measurements correct. This is the one that's 7 3/4 by 9.5. And what you're going to do is you're going to place the 9.5 inch side across the top. And I'd like for you to score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1/2 inch. Turn it so that now your 7 3/4 inch side is at the top. Score at 1/2, 1, 1.5. This is so that we have some depth to our pocket. And then let's do that one more time. Back to so that the 9.5 side is across the top. And you're going to have these here because you haven't cut yours out yet. But go ahead and do 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5. And then you'll notice I cut out the square in the corner. Okay. And you do that on both sides. And these you don't angle. These you just cut out the square. Last we have our base pages. Go ahead and place the 9 inch, well it's 9 by 9. So go ahead and you'll have 9 inches across the top. And I would like for you to score at 1 inch and 2.5 inches. Okay, 1 inch and 2.5. And finally, you're going to place the 9 by 12. This is the second piece to the base, the 9 by 12. 12 inches across the top. Score at, if you want to look at it, 6.5. Go ahead and score at 6.5. Okay. And that is all the cutting and the scoring. So now you might want to go back and start burnishing so that your score marks, so that your paper lies flat. Okay. I still have my labels on so I don't lose track of that. So I just went through with my burnishing tool and burnished all of the score marks that we did. Now on this one, the one that's the thicker pocket, you're going to, when you burnish that, you're going to do the, let me make sure I'm in frame. You're going to do the score mark that's closest to the inside, and that goes in. The second one goes out, third one goes in, so that you have an accordion fold. Same way with the bottom piece. The score that's closest to the inside, fold that forward. The next score goes back. The next one goes forward. Same on the opposite side, so that the score on the inside closest to the middle goes in. Second score mark goes out. Third one goes back in. Okay. And then the rest are pretty self-explanatory for burnishing. I need to go back and do my pockets. So let me burnish these real quick. As you're doing yours, I'll do mine. So I'm using a Teflon burnishing tool, which I love. I just feel like I get a smoother crease, but that could be me. I'm just used to that one. So this is, as you know, a weight loss tracker of sorts, and you can put different things inside. So you want to make it so that it works for you. So you might find different things on the internet you want to download and put in here. You might create your own on an Excel sheet or Word document or Google Doc, whatever. So yours may be a little bit different, and that's totally fine. You want it to work for you. I feel much better about being home on New Year's Eve doing a craft than being out in the traffic. So this is nice for those people who don't like to go out. And of course, these are saved on our YouTube channel, so you can always go back and look at them again. And if you get behind or something comes up. Okay. And I have one more to do. I just think it's easy to do easiest to do it like an assembly line. Do everything do all the cutting first, then do all the scoring, then do all the burnishing. All right, so let's put together our base first. And so that's the 9x12 and the 9x9. I'm going to be using art glitter glue to adhere them together. So we're going to use the 9x9, and we're going to have the score marks on the right hand side, and you'll notice there's a 1-inch piece here. We are going to have that and the other one overlap. Okay, so this becomes a pocket in the back. So you want it so that the shorter piece of the 9x12, when you fold it, that you can see the shorter piece on top. And we're going to place glue right here on this 1-inch strip and lay this on top as nice and neat as we can. Okay, so I'm going to be generous with the glue. I'm not going to go crazy, but I think mine's clogged already. Let me get my pin. Make sure I got it cleaned out. Okay. And I can always get rid of any excess that squeezes out, so I just want to make sure I have enough to keep everything together. Probably going a little overboard, but right up to that score. Okay, so that's about how much glue I have. And I'm just going to lay this on top so that it goes right up to that score line. Look at the top and the bottom to make sure that they're even. And let's go ahead and push down. This glue will dry clear. Flip it over. Doesn't seem to be any glue gushing out, so that's good. So you'll have this flap right here, which is going to become a pocket where we can put the insert of our little notebook. But we don't want to glue this down yet until we mat right here, okay? Because this will be a flat, we'll glue this down. So let's hold off on gluing that until we do the matting, okay? So that's our base. Let's go ahead and now attach the base, the inside pages, whether you have 2 or 3 of them. Let me get mine here. So I'm going to get my 1 and 1.5 inch piece, and where are my 2? Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move actually the base off to the side just for a second. And I'm going to go ahead and attach my pockets. Okay, so for these pockets, you will need one of the 4x7s that you scored on the ends. Okay, and you're going to need one where you scored on 3 sides, the 5.5x7s. And what we're going to do is we're going to decide how far up we want this double pocket to be. And then we're going to place that down first, and then we'll place the other pocket on top. Like so. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off, and I'm going to eyeball this and see about where I want the second piece to be. Now some people might want to measure. I'm just going to eyeball it. I think I want to come down about 1.5 inches from the top. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to place glue on my 1/2 inch pieces on both sides. And I'm going to go down about 1.5 inches up to the score line. Actually, I'm going to do it in 1 inch. It's going to be easier for me to... Okay, so this 1/2 inch is actually going to be where we attach it to the book. Okay, so it's open. Let me burnish. Make sure it's on real good. Okay, and now I'm going to put glue on the 3 sides, and I'm going to place it at the bottom, and it'll look like so. Okay. And again, it's preference as to how staggered you want your pockets. It also might depend on what you're putting in there. Like if you have some cut aparts and you want to be able to see them poking out, maybe you need, I don't know, a smaller gap between the two. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but all right, just getting my glue on here. I'm going to tuck in the 2 sides and then bring up the bottom and line it up. It's hard for me to see on this black paper on my, I think I got it lined up there. I'm still on a hunt for the best wipe so that I can clean up the excess glue. I've heard that some people have said yes, Costco's are good, they don't have much lint, and some people are like, there's still a lot of lint on those, so I don't know. I'm afraid to buy that big of a quantity if they're not going to work. So I'm pressing down real well. And like I said, this glue, if there's just a little bit, will dry clear. Okay, so we have 1 pocket and 2, and this one goes all the way down. Okay, so that's that side. And I'm going to go ahead and flip it over, and I'm going to put the back pocket. Now that back pocket is the ones that measured 6 by, these were the bigger pockets. They go up a little bit higher. Okay, so you might want to look to make sure, do a dry fit to see if these line up well enough. If you have any kind of overhang, or, and I think I have a hair of overhang. So here's what I'm going to do to fix that, because I don't want to be able to see this from the other side. So I had scored at 1/2. I need to go over about 1/8, I think, just because I do not want to see any pocket hanging over. And that should do the trick. Okay, let me cut off this little piece right here then. So do a dry fit, make sure that yours fits fine. And now let me try that. And I'll probably have to do that on the other one too. And that's going to be much better. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that on the 3 sides. I have a little piece of paper I got to trim here. Actually, I need to score this just a little bit better. Not score, burnish. Okay. Time for glue. Both sides. Well, 3 sides. And the bottom. And some people like to use the score tape, and that's totally fine. Adhesive is a very personal preference. All right. 2 sides in, bring up the bottom and line it up so that you don't go over the score line. And I think that does it. Okay, I am going to put this mat back on and burnish real well. Now some people don't like their pockets this tall, but I kind of do. And then it gives me more room here for either a picture or just decorating. So I have some glue oozing out here, so I'm just going to use my finger. So this is the exact same process we're going to do for the other page that goes on the inside. So that's already, you can feel it's a lot more sturdy and durable. Okay, so there's one, and let's do another one. Okay, I want to have it like, yep, so that your 1/2 inch is on the right hand side tucking under. So this has no, we did the same, oh no, I didn't do it that way. That's not true. We want it on the left hand side. That's important. So the score that's got the 1/2 inch score, put that on your left. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to do the 1 inch down first. So I'll put that in my scoreboard so I can see the 1 inch. And obviously this can be used for more than a weight loss tracker too. It can be like a travel folio if you want it to be, or whatever you want it to be. All right, and 1 inch down. Okay. Make sure that's on real well. And now the other pocket, that was 5.5 by 7. Let me make sure, let's do a dry fit, make sure that works. And I can live with it, yep. It's weird how you measure, depending on your cutter too. Sometimes you can be off just a hair, so it's better to check it before you glue it down. All right, tuck the 2 sides in, bring up the bottom piece. I have a bunch of glue on my hand. Let me wipe that off. let's burnish it real well. I just don't know how people do this without getting glue all over their fingers. I try not to because I don't like that feeling, but I must be messier than I thought I was. Okay, there's the front. Turn it over. Let's do that back pocket. Again, I might have to trim this one. Yep, I just better safe. So I'm going to go ahead and score 1/8 of an inch over. So I got to fix this at the bottom too. Let me burnish that. Okay, so now our 1/2 inch is on the right hand side, and we're gluing down the 3 sides. And the bottom. Okay. I bring in the 2 sides and tuck up the bottom last. Make sure it doesn't go off your page. Don't go over the score mark. All right, that is our second page. Move that to the side. And now for those of you who are doing the page protector, I don't know if you can see that. It's 5.5 by 8.5, and this you're going to want to use score tape for. The art glitter glue won't work very well. So we're going to take our 1 inch piece, our 1 by 8 3/4, and we're going to glue that on top and have it line up at the edge and the top and the bottom. Okay, so it opens at the top, and we're gluing the 1 inch piece on the side. So I'm going to place my score tape, and I'm using 1/4. You know what? I have a different brand. Let's see. This might save a little bit of time. Okay, make sure you push it down so it's stuck real well. And then I'll go through and do score tape on that other little bit that's left over, right up to the edge. Okay, so we're going to take off our adhesive and we're going to place it right on top of those 3 holes. So I think what I'm going to do is just take a little bit off at first and get it lined up. And once I'm sure I have it lined up, then I'm going to turn this sideways. So I'm kind of having my fingers guide me also. Okay. Now this will be covered with the other black piece, so that's okay that there's a little bit of adhesive there. Okay, so now I just want to make sure that everything is lined up as I take off the rest of the adhesive on this one. And now on this one, I'll tear off the rest. And I'm pressing real hard because I don't want that to come off. Okay, I'm going to trim just a hair. No, I'm not. I did get off a little bit, but I should be okay. So now the one that had the 1/2 inch gusset, or the 1/2 inch score, we're going to place, we want the score folded back, and we're going to place the 1 inch on the back then and line them up like so. See, I didn't get all the way to the edge. Ooh, I hate it when I do that. So the 1/2 inch is on the left, the 1 inch is to your right, and we're going to place that on the bottom and line it up, and like so. So we'll have the 1/2 inch to attach. Ooh, I hate that, but hopefully it'll be on the inside enough that you won't notice it. Okay, so I need to put the adhesive, if you look at it like so, so that it, I'm going to put the adhesive up here on the top. And I'll go ahead and use this again. This one doesn't rip very well, so I have to use my scissors. And then I come in with my score tape for that little extra piece, right up to the score mark without going over. Okay, and now we're going to attach that, so make sure we have the top. That's the top right up here. So I'm going to turn this upside down and attach this one. Okay. Make sure I got that on right because I don't want to, yeah. So I'm going to line these up. And push down real hard. All right, and I can't really trim this because I don't want things, well, I guess things wouldn't fall out. I don't want to take any chances. I just wish I would have had a better eye. Ugh. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll put that to the side. And I would like to do the left-hand side next of our base. Let me clean up a little bit here. Okay, let me back up here a hair. Give me a second. Let me back out about there. Okay, let's grab the paper that we scored at 1/2, 1, and 1 1/2 on 3 sides, and we've accordion folded them. We're going to take the 2 pieces of the sides and we're going to adhere them right here in the corner So I'm going to push this down, and I'm just going to put a little glue right here so that I can fold it up and attach it. Okay, we still want it to accordion fold, so we still want it to move about. So that first score, I'm just going to put a dab of glue. And I'm going to push that right like so. And if you have clothespins, this is a good time for those. I'll just hold it for a second. Make sure it's dry. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to accordion that, put glue on this first inside score. And press down. So I'm just going to pinch these for a second. I'd rather they be a little bit too dry than too wet. Okay, and then we're going to fold up that bottom piece so that we still have some stretchy, so that the book has some depth. Okay, and now we're going to place the glue on the 3 sides and place it on our inside cover. And I'm just going to dry fit it real quick. Okay, and we don't want to go over our score. Okay. Alrighty. Well, that worked out perfect. So there is some depth to this pocket. So if you have coupons or clippings of recipes, what have you, there's plenty of room in this pocket. And we will be putting a magnet on here to keep it closed. You can choose another option if you want to, but I'm going to use a magnet. And you can see I'm just pressing down as hard as I can. Now be careful, depending on the type of paper you use. This is just really sturdy, durable paper, that Artisan. Okay, so there's that. And now we're going to place the piece that was 6.5 by 9.5 that we scored at 1/2, and I rounded the corners. We're going to place that at the top and line that up so that we have a flap going up. So this is the easy one to attach. I'll probably turn my book upside down just because it's easier for me to see if I'm getting it to the edge. So let me turn that upside down. I'm going to go all the way to the top. Make sure it lines up on the sides. Press down. Extra glue. Now you can choose not to have a magnet if you don't want. When we put the weight of the paper on there, it's a long flap. It will probably stay down, but I am going to go ahead and put something at probably right about here on both sides. I'll put a magnet on the back and down here. Okay. So before we do that, let's go ahead and attach our centerpieces. And I think I'm going to do my page protector first, and then I will do the other two pages. Okay. So what we're going to do, now that my book is sideways, and there's that 1/2 inch fold. We're going to put tape or glue, and we're going to lay it down and center it in our spine area, so that the only thing that we're using as the spine is that 1/2 inch piece. Okay, does that make sense? I don't know if it does. So let me turn it back this way. So with my opening at the top and the 1/2 inch on the left, I'm going to fold that 1/2 inch down, and I'm going to place it along the score and center it, because it's not exactly the same, just like so. Okay, and that will be page 1, and see, it'll be attached so it can turn over. Okay. Okay, so do I want glue? Do I want to put decorative paper down first so that the top and the bottom, because this is a little bit shorter, so let me see. I'm fine with that little bit of black showing. Okay, so I'm going to use my art glitter glue again. And I'm putting a lot on there. I have to turn it sideways. And I'm going to fold that and eyeball it and center it up to the fold. Make sure. I'm going to move it over just a hair so it doesn't get in the way of that flap. And okay. Now we're going to take the next page and butt it up. You can overlap a hair, like so. I'm going to overlap it just a little bit from that other 1/2 inch. Even though we did 1.5 inches, and these, the 3 pages, the 1/2 inches would total 1.5, I still want to overlap just a hair so I don't run out of room in my spine. Okay, I'm going to turn this sideways. I'm going to overlap a hair because I don't need much of a gusset space. Make sure it's lined up well. And that looks about right, so I'm going to press down. Okay. So this is what we have. The page protector. Then the next page, and we have one more, and I'm going to do just a hair. I want to make sure, I'm going to line it up and see if I need to overlap it at all, or if I can just put it to the edge. And I think I'm going to butt it up as close to that score line as I can. So this one doesn't really, it's going to overlap maybe just a hair. So if I butt that up, I just want to make sure I don't go over the score line so that my book closes well. Okay. I'll turn it sideways so I can see. And line it up. Don't go over the score. Make sure it's even. And press down. Okay, so that's what it looks like from the top. It'll look much better once it's got our decorative paper on. Now before we can glue down this side pocket, we do want to put down our decorative paper. The decorative paper does not have to go all the way to the bottom because this is going to be glued shut, so we just need a small strip. I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch shorter. So let me pick out my paper and I'll be back. I'm using the Authentique paper for this part, and so on the back cover, open up your flap and we're going to adhere this. Now I made it, my book is 9 inches tall, so I made it 8 7/8 inches tall, and I did about a 2-inch strip. Okay, I did ink the edges with black soot, and now I'm just going to adhere this piece down. Okay. Alrighty. And now we're going to place glue on the bottom and the top so that it stays down and it will hold our notebook. Okay, so that's next. Just a thin line of glue because we want our notebook to fit in. Now my notebook is about 8.5 inches long and this is 9, so I should have plenty of space to put my notebook. Press down, make sure it's adhered real well. All right, let me get my notebook to show you. So I will probably, well, you will have seen the finished product. I'll put that at the beginning of this video, but I'll probably go ahead and put some paper from the collection on this also, even though it's really cute. I do want it to match. So I'm just going to open it, take the back cover and slide it in. And it does fit. And we want it to be a little bit snug, and I think that's just perfect. So that's where that's going to go. And then we will finish our decorating. Oh, let's go ahead and do our magnet. Let me show you if you're going to do a magnet. So I'm using the basic gray, and I'm going to go ahead and decide about where I want my magnet closure, probably closer to the bottom. And I'm going to, I have the 2 magnets stuck together, and take off the adhesive on the back. Okay, and open up this flap and put it about right there. Okay, I'm going to take off the backing of this, and when I close it, it'll be exactly in the right spot. Okay, so let's close that. Press down. And then There you go. So now they're in the right spot. Now I usually put a piece of tape over this to keep it in its spot, but I don't want to lose the strong magnetic hold. So I think I'm just going to cover it with paper, and it should still be fine to stay in place. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and do the decorating, and we'll do one last final look at the book for our New Year's Eve crop. This is the weight loss, oh my gosh, I haven't even been drinking my wine, weight loss tracker. So I'll be back to show you one more time what it looks like.